Our next report continues to focus on detainees, this time political prisoners, some of whom have been kept in prisons and detention centres for decades without ever having been convicted. Families of the detainees, along with rights organisations, have lobbied consistently on their behalf, but have received minimal response from authorities. Our next story takes you to one of the most recent of these protests.
There are over 10,000 people languishing in jails across the country, held in detention as political prisoners. Their families and activists have long been calling for their release, some for as long as 20 years, some as recently as 2 or 3 years. This demonstration by the Committee for the Investigation of the Disappeared, held in Vaunia town, is supporting the families of those in prison over links with the LTTE.
வீட்டில் வந்த இராணுவத்தினரே வந்து வீட்டில் கேட்டு விட்டு எங்கே கணவர் என்று கேட்ட போது நான் மீட்டிங் போனதுன்னு சொன்னோம்னா அங்க இடையில் வந்த வழி மீட்டிங் முடிந்து வீடு திரும்பி கொண்டிருந்த வேளையில் பவுலை விட்டு எனது கணவரை மட்டுமே சென்றுள்ளனர் பகல் 12 மணிக்கு. இதுவரையிலும் அவரை பற்றிய எவ்வித தகவலுமே எதுவித தொடர்பும் எதுவித சம்பந்தமும் இல்லாத எனது கணவர். எனக்கு அம்மா அப்பா சகோதரம் யாருமே இல்லாத ஒரு அனாதை பெண்ணா. கணவரை தவிர வேறு யாருமே இல்லை.
It is under the PTA, the Prevention of Terrorism Act, that the husband of this woman and others like him are being held. First enacted in 1979, revoked in 2002 and subsequently reactivated in 2006, the PTA gives law enforcement agencies sweeping powers to arrest, detain and interrogate terrorist suspects. It has been used to take thousands into custody. The Committee for the Investigation of the Disappeared has attempted to follow up on several cases, including those where there is little information about the arrested. These families and activists want the government to either charge or release political prisoners in their custody.
இவர்களுடைய துன்பங்களை அரசாங்கம் உடனடியாக தீர்த்து வைக்க வேண்டும். தன்னுடைய காவலிலே இருப்பவர்களுடைய முழு பட்டியலை வெளியிடுவதன் மூலம்தான் அது போராளிகளாக இருக்கட்டும் சாதாரண பொதுமக்களாக இருக்கட்டும் அவர்கள் உயிரோடு இருக்கிறார்களா இல்லையா என்பது தெரிந்தாக வேண்டும்.
The repeal of the PTA has also been called for by human rights activists. They feel that due to the military victory over the LTTE, there is no more justification for the existence of such a law.
Most logical thing to do for the government is to repeal the PTA because the war is no more there. But for some understandable or strange reason, the government is persisting with that. It is a threat to people's, individuals' freedom, both in the north, east and also in the south. Because so many rights of the people have been eroded, especially freedom of expression, freedom of even religious practice, all that is being questioned now. I think the government should have a will to ameliorate the disadvantages that have been brought by this law. And there is only there should be political will, otherwise by legal means the relief cannot be obtained at present. So the civil society will have to have a dialogue with the government, and the government should realize that now that the war is over, this piece of legislation is redundant and it gives so much suspicion in the eyes of the people about the future course the government is taking, because without a war, this legislation need not be there. It brings untold misery to people.
The war may be over, but many among the Tamil community are still not at peace. These families too want to put the violent past behind them and get on with their lives. But first, they want to know the fate of their loved ones and when they will be released.